Something tells me there ain't gonna be a following month. My boy's pushing everyone away. On one hand, I can respect it. He's trying not to drag other people down as he goes down with the ship, but this is why that may not be good. That's actually true. That very well could be what she would say out loud. This is complicated because I think he's wrong and right all at the same time. If we're looking at it from objectively getting the job done, he did what's right. Emotionally, probably not. Look at them eyes, though, huh? You see where Ruby and Aqua get it. Are we going to expose the murderer, name and all, in the film, which will then lure him out in the wild to try to sue or something Aqua? That feels like what we're trying to build in here. Think they're gonna end diabolically. That is actually fucked. So he just enjoys watching the light in people's eyes go out? Now I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna ruffle some feathers in the Oshi no Ko fandom, but I'm okay with that because I think there's a large chunk that just got too caught up in shipping and they need to hear the truth. Aqua's inevitable tragic end, how tragic it will be is still up in the air. It needs to happen. His sacrifice, whether that's locked away for life in prison, death penalty, because Japan does have the death penalty for murder. I don't think he'll end up in a alleyway doing crack cocaine or something, like a drug addiction like in the end of No Longer Human. But this man might be the only one who's able to go down the ship and take care of a murderer, because there is evil in this world. And sometimes you gotta Luigi your way out of it if you catch my drift. To see this scene alone of, hey, make sure you don't go to the mountainside, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's one thing to kill for the sake of killing. It's another thing to kill for sick pleasure. And to drag Ai's name into it is just, that's got to be some of the craziest things we've seen in a long time in this show. Like, they didn't pull their punches here. I'm sure there's going to be someone, oh my god, we didn't see her head crack on the way down, censored, you know, there'll be those types of people, the edgelords. But I think a majority of people will be shook by this, because this is absolutely insane. This son of a bitch needs to go. And sure, in a normal situation, proving he's a bad guy, which I think there is still a 1%, maybe up to 5% argument to be made, we can just expose his crimes and he gets the death penalty. But so far, Aqua is pretty convinced he's going down with the ship, and he's doing his best to make sure no one goes down with him, which I can respect. But at this point, until they show me otherwise, this man will get away with every crime. I think he's too convincing. He's too good of a manipulator that someone needs to take him down. And unfortunately, once you take him down, I'm pretty sure the law minimum will get to Aqua. But then again, like father, like son, maybe he can get away with his crimes. Who the fuck knows? But at this point, whatever his tragic fate is, a life full of drug addiction, death penalty, locked away for life, it's gonna be something. And honestly, at this point, I don't see a way around it. I really don't. But you know what to do. You got this far in the video. You make sure you drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already. And Patreon for live reactions and exclusives do live over there, which does help on the channel. So if you enjoy my work, do consider supporting. It does help out greatly. This was definitely a episode. The Ruby stuff was great. I think her voice work, the animation with her expressions, you understand. The thing about this scene is both siblings made sense. A dead woman can't feel, even if you believe in heaven, right? At the end of the day, knowing who I was, I forget exactly what Aqua says, but it's something along the lines of like, cat's out of the bag, whoopsies. Like, that probably is how I would have responded. But for someone who does love their mother that much, even though, yes, it will help our own careers, yes, it gets Kana out of a shitty situation, we are basically digging up the dead and spitting on it. We are tarnishing her legacy. Now we can't even mourn our dead mother in privacy. And now I'm going to be confronted by this at every which angle. And Aqua's okay with it. He even throws it in her face. You said everything's on the table. If it is, like, and it's hard, right? Because had he asked her, would you be okay if I dig up mom's grave to protect Kana? She would have said, no, let that bitch burn. That's probably what she would have said, something along those lines. But you understand the frustration on both sides. I do think in this moment he was in the right. I don't think it takes away from his love for his mother. I think it's just, it's one of those cases where if you remove emotion and just have logic, what he did was right. But we are human, and emotion is a core thing about our character, so you understand the hostility and why she's like, I don't have a brother anymore. Listen, family say that shit, you're dead to me all the time. It's not irreparable, but given the trajectory of his life, it might be irreparable. It's hard to say. But this moment really solidified that he's going down. He plans to go down with the ship, but he doesn't want other people to be dragged with him. It's not impossible to save him. It's not. I think Akane is the wild card still, depending on what her involvement will be, and knowing that she will be involved in this movie, which is all about the big old lie and the murder, and I'm sure that's going to be a big part of exposing who the killer really is. Time will tell. This man, though, this story with the director, oh man, this got me, especially seeing just how close they were, and just the fact that Aqua really liked him at a young age, and just the fact that they had this big documentary plan, and if it wasn't for the murder, if we would have been able to film the concert at the Dome, it would have been released probably months later. And now here we are doing a crazy story. I'm not exactly sure what Aqua's plan is. I do think it's all about, I think in this story, he's not going to know, everyone's not going to know other than Mr. Aqua. The name in the script of who the killer is going to turn out to be is going to be a real person name, because it's going to be his dad. And I think that's going to be part of the revenge tour. I'm probably missing a lot, but he, in this episode, says he wants to, I'm not going to tell people who the killer is because you'll just go kill him. And that's not what we want. We want to make him have a fate worse than death. What would be a fate worse than death? Ruining his life, making him suffer in a public? Sure, but that's the way Aqua's talking. He wants to skin this man alive. Will he go that far? I don't know. But that's the vibes I'm getting. This is tragic, though. I mean, you knew it was going to be bad. But the way it's just that fucking mountainside, man. It's just, he's too good. He's too good at making people trust. I honestly didn't think it was going to happen this episode. I thought it would have been next episode. It's just, it's kind of like watching a train approach. You're in a dark tunnel. All you see is the headlights of the train approaching. You know it's going to run you over. You have plenty of opportunity to walk away and just move to the side, and it still hits you regardless. That's the vibe this whole bullshit gave me. Crazy episode. Season 3, like I said last week, I've always enjoyed Oshinoko. I think it's had amazing arcs and moments, but this season hooked me in. It got me like, ooh, I'm drooling for the next episodes. Maybe my tune will change over time. Maybe things will get too rushed in pacing. I don't know. But as it stands, I mean, I keep hearing about how this is moments where the fans were arguing about who he was going to end up with. Anyway, you let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already, and Patreon full live reactions, yes, do live over there, and other exclusives like, hey, I love to give those video shoutouts to my patrons, because without them, you wouldn't get these YouTube videos at all. So today we got JT, Tamarick, Duncan Bowie, Action Vids, Nadius, Your Boy, Imagine Snow, Beast Swim, and we also have Lolachu, so I appreciate the support. Please take care. Have a good one.